Okay, this semantic rant is a little more. Hopefully, it'll go on for a little longer, if only because the distinctions about these two words, atheism and nontheism, are a little more tricky to go about, and the ideas that can come about are even more complex in that nontheism can be viewed as an umbrella term for everything I've considered myself over the years that has to do with anything that rejects a concept of God in the sense of a personal being, which means people can actually understand non-theism in the sense of pantheism, where God is essentially equated with the universe in one sense or another. I think I stated that in another rant, but I don't know if anyone cares about the rants. I'm just doing the rants because I have a big pile of them in this Word document, and I thought I'd get to some of them. But on to atheism. The first aspect to consider here is that both atheism and non-theism contain a common factor, and that is the word theos, which means God, or gods, or some sort of divinity, you could argue. But if we're going to nitpick about what theos means, it would more than likely mean something that equates God to something that is anthropomorphic, that is, it has human characteristics. It can get mad, it has feelings, it can, it can reciprocate love, it can pass judgment, those sorts of things that some sort of rational, or should we say sentient, no, sentient means you can actually feel pain, so the word would be maybe cognizant, that they actually have consciousness and the ability to rationalize in one sense or another, to discern, those sorts of words. But in that respect, yeah, the common factor with non-theism and atheism is at least that they possibly agree about what they are rejecting or what they're negating or whatever you want to say it is, or whatever they lack. But on to atheism in etymology, the A that you see is the tricky part of contrasting it with non-theism. Atheism could mean, in one respect, that you're actually asserting that asserting the negation of God. That is, God. You're asserting that God does not exist. Or there's the notion that is simply without God, simply that you lack God belief. It doesn't mean that you actually assert that God does not exist, but that you simply find no reason to believe in God. It's a very tricky distinction to make, but it's important because, well, we have non-theism, which simply covers atheism, agnosticism, etc., in that non-theism would simply be a more descriptive definition, as opposed to atheism, which can actually lend itself to degrees of atheism, as it were, weak atheism / soft atheism, and then strong atheism / hard atheism, where you actually assert something, as opposed to simply saying, I see no evidence for it, so I'm not going to believe, as opposed to saying, there is no evidence, I do not believe. I think that's the important distinction to make, as opposed to with non-theism, where it can actually even cover some more supernatural positions, such as pantheism, which I already said, that God is essentially the universe. God is not anything that actually has a personality or the ability to actually rationalize or behave as some sort of judge or those sorts of things, but it's simply the sum total of all the laws of the universe. And then we have stuff like transtheism, where we're actually getting it's similar. It's where God is still something. Well, it's God's the ground of being, but that can also suggest that it's a pantheistic form. But it's always tricky to define these little things. I'm trying not to go on for more than 5 minutes, so I've only got a little bit more time before I can go on with this. And I hope you enjoy the picture, because, well, it's the only one I can find. I can't find one for non-theism, but enjoy that regardless, with this little distinction. I don't know how many of these I'm actually going to put up, semantic rant-wise. I think I only have 7 or something, so I can't really do much more than, let's see, I count 7, so I could do one more after this, and then I could even it out to that. And for once, I'd actually be uneven. I'd have 3 videos uploaded as opposed to 5. But who cares? Anyway, there's their little distinctions, really. Atheism can actually be considered under non-theism, but non-theism is almost a descriptively vague term to cover a lot of things that otherwise would be considered theistic in one respect or another. Anyway, see you later.